Best practices. What are best practices? Best practices are, I guess, rules. Right. The club does have rules, but I'd look at them as more as tradition, because that's how things were done when I joined the club, and that's how I learned. So and they're part of the rules. So best practices, I think the first one, which is the most important one, I think, is to be punctual, to arrive on time. And where I come from, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. So in order to make the treasurer's job less complicated, be either by 7:15, that gives you enough time to take care of that business, unless you prepay, which always helps. Get your food, your chow, your coffee, and find your seat. So you could be in your seat by 7:29. So when that gavel drops, we can have some excitement. And that's the other thing, is when that meeting starts, stand up. No, that's when we have to have energy, right? So having energy, clapping, supporting Morris, who's the sergeant at arms, and getting that energy level up. So when he introduces the president, we've got some energy in the room. Silence your devices. That's always important. When you're speaking, whether you're doing table topics, evaluations, or speeches, mind your time. There is a 30-second grace period for all those things, but it's a grace period. It's to give you grace. So if you go over a few seconds, you don't get disqualified. Now, there is a schedule. The meeting starts at 7:30 and ends at 9 o'clock, and if people don't mind that time, easily we could go over 9 o'clock. And you want to respect your own time, you want to respect everyone else's time. Getting that meeting ended at 9 o'clock is always a plus when you're at the head table, when you're Toastmaster. Tapping the glass, that's a double-edged sword, I think. Some people hate it. Some people think it's rude. Some people think the buzzer is rude. But the other side of that sword is it trains you. It trains you. So if you know you have X amount of time, believe me, over the years, when you are a Toastmaster for a while, you get a knack for speaking. If you know you have a minute, you can pretty much know what a minute is. And Toastmasters are the masters of the spoken word. Now, anybody can speak for a minute and 30 seconds on a table topic, right? Right? You could guess that 30 seconds and finish at 128, 129. But if 5 people do that in table topics, that means potentially 2 people might not get a table topic. That's 2.5 minutes. And that's enough time for 2 table topics. And I've been at Toastmasters many times where I'm not on the program and I don't get a table topic, and that could be a real drag, unless you're one that doesn't like table topics. And then you ought to do it even more, I think. Thanks for that laughter. So if we're the masters of the spoken word, we can easily stop speaking when that red light goes on, even if we go over by a few seconds, to respect everyone's time. When speakers end their speeches or their table topics or their evaluations, applause with excitement, with energy, because that person deserved it. There's many times where I'm in the room and I see maybe half the room, a few people are applauding, some people aren't. They're either texting or they do something or they're writing, but take a moment, even if you give 3 claps, it helps, because you want to show appreciation to that speaker. When you're speaking, we want to show you the same appreciation. Entering or leaving the room. The general rule, and I think this goes for everything, not Toastmasters only, is when someone's speaking, don't leave the room. If you are approaching the entrance to the room and you hear someone speaking, wait until you hear the applause. When you hear the applause, that's the signal to go, open the door and go in. Same thing when you're leaving. Wait until the applause, then you could leave without any disturbance caused to the speaker. When you want to cross the room, walk around. Don't go across the room. It's distracting. And again, if someone's speaking, everyone's looking at the speaker, and if you walk across the room, it's best practice to walk around the room. Walk around. Never walk behind the lectern when someone's speaking, or at any point, I think, in any meeting. Every time I see someone walk behind the lectern, I cringe. I go, ooh, gotta talk to that person. Small talk. How many times have you sat next to somebody? Like, right, and they talk. Some people have a good whisper voice. They can whisper. Some people's whisper voice is like this. Hey, can you believe this guy? Meanwhile, you can hear that in the hallway. That's the whisper of some people. But you want to mind that. Keep that to a minimum. We have sheets on this table. If you need to write a note to somebody, write a note. It's easy, and it keeps the noise to a minimum. Finally, respect and kindness, I think, are the names of the game. Forget about the rules. Respect each other. Respect each other by doing the things that I've mentioned. Showing up on time, being in your seat, applauding, not leaving the room when someone's speaking, etc. And be kind. If you have a criticism that you want to give somebody in an evaluation or on one of the sheets, just like there are ways we can improve our speaking, we want to be kind with how we share our opinions and our suggestions, which I think they're only that, they're suggestions for the speaker. Because Winter Park is supposed to be the safest place for us to go and speak, pour our hearts out, get emotional if we have to, cry, and if somebody falls on the floor while they're speaking and cracks their head open, somebody just call 911, but we're going to put pressure on the wound, and we're going to get that person back behind the lectern so they can finish their speech. So you want to keep in mind that you want to respect everyone and keep Winter Park Toastmasters a safe place. We have a great institution. It's been around for a long time, and it's not perfect, but then again, what is perfect? Bye, Pat.
Thank you.
Can I get a little more enthusiasm with that applause?